The Lord be with you this day. I'm sitting underneath our now beloved chestnut tree as the wind is blowing in the branches and the leaves are flying around me. And truly autumn has arrived. So you're very welcome this morning as we join together to celebrate harvest. Today, unfortunately, our churches are closed. So we're online only, but we're delighted to be with you, and we will have a lot of the children join us this morning in various different shapes and forms, and people reminiscing about harvest. But first, as our service Copperpot?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Oh, it's a family service.
Exactly!
Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't invite you.
Doesn't matter.
No. Well, welcome to Copperpot as well, who'll be joining us this morning as we say thank you to God.
For harvest time!
Well done. Harvest is a wonderful opportunity to give thanks to God.
For everything.
Yes, for everything, but particularly for how He provides for our needs. And we're reminded at the end of the year, when the crops come in from the fields, when we gather into our barns for the winter time.
Like the squirrel.
Yes, like the squirrel. We have a squirrel who's been busily gathering nuts from our front garden, and he's making his way across to the church in the church direction, and I think he's possibly storing them somewhere over there in his little dray.
His what?
His dray. That's his house. So we give thanks to God for harvest this day.
They were great pictures.
They were great pictures. Thank you very much to the pupils of Powerscourt National School for those amazing photographs. I think they were scarecrows, some of them.
Yeah. What's a scarecrow?
I'll tell you later. Today we give thanks for our hens, and there are many. What do you give thanks for today?
I'm grateful for the fields, the harvests, and the orchards. I thank you for the blacksmith, the future, and all the food.
I'm grateful for my family, birds and nature, and the parishes in the village.
And I'm grateful for togetherness, whatever way that may be. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
We are blessed to have many people who have worked the land all their lives. Here's Harry's memories of a certain harvest in 1946.
Yeah, well, in my early days in harvesting, I can always remember back to 1946 when there was a really, really bad harvest and everybody had really given up hope. We had the army in helping to rescue the harvest. It looked hopeless, but without the help of our neighbours, even the ladies came out and did their share in saving the harvest, and it was a wonderful, wonderful feeling to have your harvest safely home. And again, we didn't lose our faith. The good Lord provided for us, and we did save a harvest. And I always feel that you're much more grateful when you save a harvest in bad conditions rather than saving a harvest in good conditions. It makes you feel much more grateful, and I think we should be more grateful.
Throughout his ministry, Jesus explains to his disciples and those who listen to his words that God is constantly with us and caring for us as a father cares for his children.
Yeah.
So, in our gospel, actually, would you like to introduce our gospel today?
Okay. In our gospel today, Jesus explains that we shouldn't worry about anything because God has this.
That's fair.
Then he told them a parable. The land of a rich man produced abundantly, and he thought to himself, "What should I do? For I have no place to store my crops." Then he said, "I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build larger ones, and there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, 'Soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your life is being demanded of you. And the things you have prepared, whose will they be?' So it is with those who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich towards God." He said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. Consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap. They have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? And can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your span of life? If then you are not able to do so small a thing as that, why do you worry about the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not clothed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, you of little faith? And do not keep on striving for what you are to eat and what you are to drink, and do not keep worrying. For it is the nations of the world that strive after all these things, and your Father knows that you need them.
He's got a bit tired. It's very important to be grateful. And sometimes an attitude of gratitude requires us to muster up all the energy that we have in order to say thank you. or to look around with different eyes at the blessings that we have. There are days when, as human beings, we're up or we're down, and it's harder some days than others. But to cultivate an attitude of gratitude is a marvellous thing. I heard a story recently about a man who used to place a little stone on his dressing table, and every morning he'd pop it into his pocket.
Why?
Because as he went about during his day, whenever his hand went into his pocket and he felt the stone, he offered up a little prayer of gratitude or a thought of gratitude. It reminded him to be grateful.
Okay.
I know a lady who kept a little book of gratitude beside her bed, or probably still does, and every night she'd write a thank you page. Thank you for the things that had happened during the day, or thank you for her family. So what is your thank you, or have you got a way to say thank you to God this day? Perhaps you can find a stone and keep it either close to your bed or bring it with you. And
Don't eat it.
no, you shouldn't put anything like that in your mouth. Well said.
For me as an artist, harvest time represents the change of nature's palette. From the beautiful summer colours, the greens and the blues and the yellows, into the spectacular colours of autumn. We're blessed.
When we cultivate a form of gratitude within ourselves, we begin to notice the smaller things. And if there's one thing that lockdown has provided for us earlier this year, it was the opportunity to stop and to look around us and to review. And I sincerely hope that we have learnt from that to lower the pace of our lives a little bit, to suddenly put our heads up and look at the sky every day, to utter a prayer of gratitude to God for the created order and all that it supplies for our own needs, and that He may encourage us to take good care of the gifts that He has given us. We are grateful for you, God, for everything that God gives us,
Thank you, God.
for the joys that we have in our lives, for the people we have in our lives, for the nourishment on our tables every evening. God, we give you thanks. I'm grateful for this community of faith. I'm grateful for the support and encouragement that I've been given over the last year, and I'm grateful for you, Copperpot.
Thank you.
And finally, I'm grateful for this little square, for your company over the last few months. May it continue, and for its ability to be able to reach into the lives of those who may not necessarily be walking through the doors of our churches. So God bless you this day. Happy harvest.
Happy harvest.
Yes, happy harvest to one and all. And thank you, God, for all you've given us. God bless you until we meet next week.